What if I told you that the crown jewel of the Las Vegas Strip, the resort that once defined luxury itself, is crumbling before our eyes? The Bellagio, that Italian masterpiece with its dancing fountains and impossible elegance, has become a shadow of what it used to be. Peeling rooms, fountains that barely perform, service that would embarrass a roadside motel. This isn't just another Vegas property getting old. This is the systematic destruction of an icon. And the worst part, they're still charging you premium prices while everything falls apart. Today, we're exposing the brutal truth about why the Bellagio is failing. And trust me, by the time we get to number 1, you'll understand why longtime guests are walking away heartbroken. Number 10, the fountains aren't what they used to be. Picture this, it's 1998, and you're standing on Las Vegas Boulevard watching the Bellagio fountains for the first time. The crowd gasps as water rockets 460 feet into the desert sky, perfectly synchronized to Pavarotti's voice echoing across the strip. Every 15 minutes, another show, another moment of pure magic. People would plan their entire Vegas evening around catching multiple performances, each one feeling like a Broadway production compressed into liquid art. That Bellagio doesn't exist anymore. Today's reality hits different. The fountains that once performed every 15 minutes during peak hours now stretch to every 30 minutes, sometimes longer. Locals report entire evenings where shows get canceled without explanation. Technical difficulties, maintenance issues, or maybe just cost-cutting disguised as scheduling changes. The musical selection that once featured full symphonies and opera now loops through the same tired pop songs on repeat. Gone are the days of seasonal programming and special holiday performances that made each visit unique. But here's what really stings. The fountains themselves are showing their age. Dead jets that don't fire, lighting arrays with burned out bulbs that haven't been replaced in months, water pressure that feels weaker, less dramatic, like someone turned down the volume on what used to be Vegas's signature symphony. Recent visitors describe brown water stains on the lake's edges, algae buildup that would have been unthinkable in the property's prime. The maintenance crew that once treated these fountains like the Sistine Chapel now seems stretched too thin, racing between breakdowns instead of preventing them. Social media tells the story better than any press release. Comments flood TripAdvisor and Reddit, waited 45 minutes for a show that lasted 3 minutes. Half the jets weren't even working. This used to be magical, now it's just sad. Even worse, the viewing areas that once offered premium spots for everyone now get choked with VIP cabanas and paid experiences, pushing regular visitors to the edges where you can barely see the show. The fountain show that once symbolized democratic luxury, free beauty for all, has become another reminder that even Bellagio's most iconic feature isn't immune to decay. And if the fountains are struggling, wait until you see what's happening behind those famous doors, in rooms that still charge premium prices for an experience that's anything but premium. Number 9, aging rooms, behind the luxury price tag. You just paid $450 for a Tuesday night at the Bellagio. You walk into your room expecting Italian elegance, that famous attention to detail that once justified the price tag. Instead, you're greeted by a time capsule from 2004, and not in a charming way. The wallpaper near the bathroom is peeling. The carpet shows traffic patterns worn so deep they've become permanent shadows. The marble bathroom that looked stunning in promotional photos is cracked along the edges, grout darkened with 2 decades of moisture damage that no amount of cleaning can hide. Recent guests aren't just complaining, they're documenting everything. Photos on travel forums show furniture with fabric tiers hastily covered with decorative pillows, television sets that aren't just old, they're the thick plasma screens that most now creak with worn springs and mattresses compressed from millions of nights of use. One Reddit user posted a photo of their $500 per night room with actual duct tape holding together a leather chair. Duct tape. At the Bellagio, the technology situation borders on comedy. While Wynn rooms feature tablets controlling everything from curtains to climate, Bellagio guests wrestle with thermostats that might work, light switches positioned in bizarre locations, and electrical outlets so loose that chargers fall out constantly. The high-speed internet they advertise, guests report speeds that make their home connections look like NASA mission control. You're paying 2025 prices for 2005 amenities, and that's being generous. But here's the real insult. Selective renovation. The Bellagio has updated some rooms, creating a lottery system where identical prices might get you either a refreshed suite or a deteriorating box. They know exactly which rooms haven't been touched in years, yet they're still selling them at premium rates. The new Fontainebleau down the the Strip charges similar prices for rooms that feel genuinely luxurious. with rain showers, smart mirrors, and furniture that doesn't look like it survived 2 decades of abuse. Meanwhile, Bellagio's management seems content to coast on a reputation earned when Bill Clinton was president. The message is clear: they're banking on the name, not the experience. Speaking of experiences, if you think the rooms are disappointing, wait until you try to interact with what used to be the Strip's gold standard service team. Number 8, service slipping across the board. The Bellagio once trained other properties on the art of hospitality. Their staff wrote the book on anticipating guest needs, creating moments of delight, making everyone feel like a high roller even if they were staying in a standard room. That culture is dead, replaced by skeleton crews of overworked employees who can barely keep up with basic requests, let alone deliver the white glove service that once defined this property. Check-in tells you everything. What used to be a smooth 5-minute welcome now stretches to 45 minutes or longer, with lines snaking through the lobby like you're at the DMV. Guests report 3 or 4 front desk agents handling hundreds of arrivals, fumbling with outdated computer systems while frustrated travelers watch their Vegas vacation tick away. The concierge desk that once buzzed with experts who could get you into any restaurant or show, often unstaffed or manned by someone who knows less about Vegas than a quick Google search would tell you. The daily service that was once standard now requires multiple calls to the front desk, if it happens at all. Guests share horror stories of returning to rooms at 6 p.m. to find beds unmade, trash overflowing, towels never replaced. One TripAdvisor review described calling housekeeping 4 times over 2 days just to get fresh towels, finally walking to the supply closet themselves to grab what they needed. When cleaning does happen, it's rushed and incomplete. Surfaces half-wiped, amenities not restocked, carpets that haven't seen a deep clean in months. This isn't just about inconvenience. This is about the death of what made Bellagio special. When you're charging $45 for a cocktail and $450 for a room, service isn't optional, it's the entire point. 7. Food and beverage quality decline. The Bellagio once housed restaurants that defined culinary excellence in Las Vegas, Le Cirque, Picasso, Prime. These weren't just meals, they were experiences that justified flying across the country. Food Network devoted entire episodes to the artistry happening in these kitchens. That golden age of Bellagio dining is over, replaced by a depressing combination of closures, declining quality, and prices that somehow keep climbing while portions shrink and standards plummet. Start with the casualties. Yellowtail Japanese restaurant closed. Cafe Bellagio gone. Todd English's Olives shuttered. Fiamma Trattoria disappeared. And most heartbreaking of all, Picasso, Bellagio's Michelin-starred masterpiece, served its final meal in 2024 after nearly 26 years, quietly closing its doors forever. Each closure explained away as reimagining or refreshing, but the replacements never match what was lost. The spaces sit empty for months, sometimes years, or get converted into generic bars that could exist in any airport lounge. Meanwhile, the restaurants that survived aren't what they used to be. Prime Steakhouse, once mentioned in the same breath as Peter Luger or Gibson's, now serves $85 steaks that guests compare unfavorably to Texas Roadhouse. Even casual dining has become a joke. The cafe that replaced Cafe Bellagio charges $28 for a basic breakfast that arrives cold. The pool bars serve $24 frozen margaritas that taste like flavored ice. A burger and fries at any Bellagio venue now runs $38 to $45, and reviews consistently describe them as worse than fast food. The gelato shop charges $12 for a small cup. The coffee bar wants $18 for a latte and pastry. These aren't just Vegas prices, they're insult prices for food that wouldn't cut it at a mall food court. The message from management seems clear. They know you're a captive audience, and they're going to squeeze every dollar possible while delivering the minimum. But the pricing games don't stop at restaurants. Wait until you discover the maze of hidden fees that turn your Bellagio stay into a financial shakedown. Number 6. Hidden fees and parking nightmares. You thought you scored a deal. Maybe $300 a night at the Bellagio, not bad for a supposed 5-star experience. Then reality hits. That $300 room actually costs $395 after the mandatory resort fee. Want to park your car? That's another $30 per day for self-parking, $40 for valet. By the time you check out, your 3-night stay that was supposed to cost $900 has ballooned to nearly $1,400, and you haven't even bought a drink yet. This death by 1,000 cuts destroys any sense of luxury. You're constantly aware of being squeezed, every amenity turned into a transaction. The psychological effect is devastating. Instead of relaxing and enjoying the experience, guests spend their stay angry about being treated like walking ATMs. The Bellagio turned itself into everything wrong with modern Vegas: greedy, transactional, and completely disconnected from the hospitality that once made it special. And while they're busy picking your pocket with fees, newer properties are delivering everything Bellagio used to represent, which brings us to the embarrassing reality of who's actually winning the luxury game on today's strip. Number 5. Competition outshining the Bellagio. Remember when the Bellagio was the undisputed king of the strip? When its 1998 opening literally redefined what a Vegas resort could be. Those days are ancient history. Today, the Bellagio isn't just facing competition, it's being humiliated by properties that didn't even exist when it was setting the standard for luxury. Walk into Resorts World, which opened in 2021, and you'll find everything the Bellagio should have evolved into, but didn't. Their rooms feature voice-activated controls, floor-to-ceiling windows with motorized curtains, and bathrooms that make Bellagio's dated marble look like it belongs in a 1990s time capsule. While Bellagio guests struggle with key cards that demagnetize every 5 minutes, Resorts World visitors unlock doors with their phones. While Bellagio charges for basic Wi-Fi speeds that would embarrass a rural library, newer properties offer blazing fast connections as standard. Then there's the Fontainebleau, opened in 2023, showing what true modern luxury means. Every room feels like a penthouse. Their spa makes Bellagio's feel like a suburban day spa. Their casino floor uses technology Bellagio probably doesn't even know exists. RFID chips, digital tables, an app that lets you reserve specific machines or tables before you arrive. Meanwhile, Bellagio's casino operates like it's still 2002, with the same tired slot machines and table games presented exactly as they were 2 decades ago. Even Aria, another MGM property, embarrasses its older sibling. Opening in 2009, Aria proved MGM could build something contemporary and sophisticated. Yet they seem content to let Bellagio rot, while Aria gets the investments, the updates, the attention. It's like MGM itself has given up on Bellagio being competitive, treating it as a cash cow to milk until it finally collapses. The message to guests is clear. If you want actual luxury, modern amenities, and innovative experiences, go literally anywhere except Bellagio. The property that once set trends now watches from the sidelines as newer resorts steal its customers, its prestige, and its relevance. But if you want to understand why Bellagio can't compete, you need to follow the money, because what's happening behind the scenes is even uglier than what guests experience. Number 4. Corporate cost-cutting MGM influence. Steve Wynn built the Bellagio as a monument to excellence, spending $1.6 billion in 1998 money to create something Vegas had never seen. When MGM Resorts took over in 2000, they inherited more than a property. They inherited a philosophy that quality matters more than quarterly earnings. That philosophy is now dead, murdered by spreadsheets and shareholder demands that turned Bellagio from a prestige property into a profit extraction machine. The numbers tell the story MGM doesn't want you to hear. Since 2019, they've eliminated over 18,000 positions company-wide, with Bellagio absorbing brutal cuts that gutted entire departments. The Flower Conservatory, that once employed 120 horticulturists, now operates with fewer than 40. The maintenance team responsible for keeping 3,133 rooms pristine has been slashed by 60%. The army of engineers who once prevented problems before guests noticed them has been reduced to a skeleton crew that can barely respond to emergencies. These aren't efficiency improvements, they're the systematic dismantling of everything that made Bellagio exceptional. But here's where it gets truly cynical. While cutting staff and deferring maintenance, MGM reported record profits in recent quarters, $1 million in compensation last year, while Bellagio employees watched their benefits shrink and over time disappear. The company spent $2 billion on stock buybacks since 2021, money that could have renovated every single room at Bellagio twice over. Instead, that capital went to pumping MGM's stock price while the actual property crumbles. They're literally choosing Wall Street over emergency repairs that should take days, stretch to weeks, because approvals must go through 3 levels of corporate bureaucracy, more concerned with budgets than guest experience. Former employees paint an even darker picture. They describe a culture where suggesting improvements gets you labeled a troublemaker, where managers receive bonuses for cutting costs, but face no consequences for declining satisfaction scores, where the unofficial motto changed from "nothing is too good for our guests" to "good enough is good enough." One longtime concierge who recently quit told me that management literally removed comment cards from rooms. because they were tired of reading complaints they had no intention of addressing. This isn't just mismanagement, it's asset stripping. MGM treats Bellagio like a dying star, extracting maximum value before the inevitable collapse. They know the reputation will carry them for a few more years, that tourists will keep booking based on memories of what Bellagio used to be. But that strategy has an expiration date, and we're watching it arrive in real time. Speaking of decline, you can see with your own eyes, nowhere is the cost-cutting more obvious than on the casino floor itself. Number 3, outdated casino floor and atmosphere. The Bellagio casino floor once felt like entering a palace. The ceiling soared 40 feet high. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over tables where James Bond might actually play. The sound was sophisticated. Chips, clicking, and subtle conversation, not the desperate cacophony of penny slots. Walking through in 1998 felt like joining an exclusive club, even if you were just there to play 25 blackjack. Today's reality would make Steve Wynn weep. Start with the basics. The carpet hasn't been fully replaced since 2008. Not cleaned, not patched, but actually replaced. 17 years of spilled drinks, cigarette burns, and millions of footsteps have turned what was once elegant patterns into an abstract expressionism of stains and wear. The smell hits you immediately, a combination of stale smoke, desperation, and whatever they're pumping through the ventilation system to mask the fact that proper air filtration would cost too much. The famous Dale Chihuly glass ceiling sculpture, once meticulously maintained, now features visible dust and grime that maintenance can't or won't address. The gaming itself has devolved into everything Bellagio was supposed to transcend. Those elegant table games with reasonable minimums, gone. Blackjack starts at $50 during peak times, $100 on weekends, effectively pricing out anyone who isn't prepared to lose thousands. The tables that do offer lower limits feature 6.5 fame. Craps tables that once buzzed with energy now sit empty because 25 minimums killed the social atmosphere that made the game special. Meanwhile, the high-limit rooms that should showcase ultimate luxury look exactly as they did in 2001, with the same furniture, same decor, same everything except the minimums, which have machines scream with outdated graphics and carnival sounds that belong in a roadside casino, not a supposed luxury resort, the latest technology absent. While Resorts World features machines that remember your preferences and offer phone charging built into the console, Bellagio's slots look and feel like museum pieces from the Bush administration. The atmosphere tells the complete story. On a recent Saturday night, what should have been prime time, entire sections of the casino sat empty. Not just quiet, but abandoned. Dealers standing at dead tables, checking their phones, cocktail waitresses nowhere to be found because management cut those shifts. The energy that once made Bellagio's casino feel alive has been replaced by the hollow echo of a few desperate gamblers and confused tourists wondering where everyone went. When your casino floor feels more depressing than exciting, you're not running a luxury resort anymore. You're running a mausoleum with slot machines. And this brings us to an even deeper problem because Bellagio hasn't just lost its energy, it's lost its entire reason for existing. Number 2, lost identity in modern Vegas. The Bellagio didn't just change Las Vegas, it created the template every luxury property would follow for the next 2 decades. Before Bellagio, Vegas was either old-school mob glamour or family-friendly theme parks. Bellagio said no to both, creating something unprecedented, accessible luxury that made regular people feel extraordinary. That identity, that purpose is gone. The Bellagio today is a confused, directionless property that stands for nothing and appeals to everyone poorly. Consider what Bellagio represented in 1998. It was Vegas saying, we're not just gambling anymore, we're Paris, Rome, and New York combined. The art collection rivaled major museums. The restaurants earned Michelin stars. The shopping featured brands that wouldn't have touched Vegas 5 years earlier. Bellagio gave the city permission to grow up, to demand respect instead of just tourist dollars. Every major property that followed, from Wynn to Cosmopolitan to Fontainebleau, owes its existence to the trail Bellagio blazed. Now look at what's left. The art collection still exists, but hasn't been meaningfully updated in years. Those museum-quality pieces hang in the same spots, while dust collects on frames nobody bothers to clean properly. The gallery of fine art that once hosted Monet and Picasso exhibitions now features Instagram pop-up experiences designed for influencers to take selfies. The cultural programming that separated Bellagio from everywhere else has been replaced by whatever generates social media engagement. They literally traded sophistication for hashtags. The property can't even decide what it wants to be anymore. One day, it's chasing high rollers with private gaming salons. The next, it's cramming the pool with bachelorette parties and EDM music. The lobby showcases fine art while the casino pumps top 40 hits. The restaurants range from legitimate fine dining to food court quality, with no coherent vision connecting them. It's like watching someone have an identity crisis in real time, trying on different personalities without committing to any of them. Even worse, Bellagio has become reactive instead of innovative. When Wynn introduced nightlife, Bellagio scrambled to add clubs that never quite fit. When Cosmopolitan went young and hip, Bellagio tried Schrader ni isardigira in a sun neither seam kunagur cool, but came off desperate. When Resorts World emphasized technology, Bellagio made token digital updates that felt half-hearted. They're constantly playing catch-up to trends they should be setting, following instead of leading, copying instead of creating. The saddest part, Las Vegas itself has moved on. The city that Bellagio helped create no longer needs what Bellagio offers because everyone offers it now. Luxury is baseline. Celebrity chefs are everywhere. High-end shopping exists at 12 different properties. The innovations Bellagio pioneered became industry standard, and instead of pioneering new territory, the property just coasts on increasingly irrelevant history. When everyone copies your homework, you better have new ideas. Bellagio doesn't, and that brings us to the heart of why none of this matters compared to what's really been lost. Number one, the magic is gone, and guests feel it. Here's the truth that no spreadsheet can capture and no corporate executive wants to admit. The Bellagio has lost its soul. Not its amenities, not its services, not even its reputation. Its soul. That intangible feeling that once made walking through those doors feel like entering another world. The magic that transformed ordinary Tuesday nights into memories people treasured forever. That's what's really gone. And everyone who loved this place can feel its absence like a missing heartbeat. I keep thinking about what a former Bellagio butler told me. He worked there from opening day until 2023, 25 years of watching dreams come true. He described couples getting engaged at the fountains, celebrations that lasted until dawn, strangers becoming friends over perfect meals. But in his final years, he said something changed. The joy disappeared. Guests stopped looking amazed and started looking annoyed. Staff stopped feeling proud and started feeling defeated. The building was the same, but the spirit inside it had evacuated. You can see it in the reviews now. Not the complaints about prices or renovations, but the deeper observations. It just felt empty. Something was missing. It didn't feel special anymore. These aren't angry reviews, they're heartbroken ones. People who honeymooned at Bellagio returning for anniversaries and finding a hollow shell of their memories. Travelers who saved for years to experience the legendary Bellagio hospitality, only to discover that legend died while nobody was watching. The employees feel it most acutely. They're not just losing jobs, they're watching something beautiful die in slow motion. Dealers who spent decades perfecting their craft reduced to pushing buttons on electronic tables. Concierges who built relationships with guests over years told to push app downloads instead. Housekeepers who took pride in perfect rooms given impossible quotas that guarantee failure. They're not employees anymore. They're witnesses to a tragedy, forced to participate in the destruction of something they loved. But here's what really breaks my heart. Las Vegas needed Bellagio to remain exceptional. Not just successful, but exceptional. It was proof that Vegas could be more than neon and noise, that it could create genuine beauty in the desert. When Bellagio surrenders to mediocrity, it doesn't just hurt one property. It diminishes the entire city's ability to dream big. It tells every other resort that excellence doesn't matter, that good enough really is good enough, that magic is less important than margins. The Bellagio's collapse isn't measured in occupancy rates or revenue reports. It's measured in the moments that don't happen anymore. The gasps that don't come when the fountains dance. The smiles that don't spread when someone enters their room. The stories that don't get told because nothing worth remembering occurred. When you lose the ability to create wonder, you lose everything that matters in hospitality. You become just another building in a city full of buildings. Another bed in a desert full of beds, another disappointment in a world that has plenty already. The Bellagio was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be forever. Instead, it's become the saddest story on the Strip, a masterpiece that forgot what made it matter. The Bellagio isn't just falling apart, it's breaking hearts. From those dying fountains to the magic. That vanished. This isn't the palace Steve Wynn built. It's a monument to what happens when corporations choose profits over people, spreadsheets over souls. What do you think? Can Bellagio reclaim its throne? Or is the dream permanently over? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more unfiltered truth about what's really happening in Vegas.